I mean, interestingly, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, the only African-American Republican senator, who said this is the most racist thing I've seen coming out of the White House, which I thought was interesting phrasing. Yeah. He didn't say, this is the only racist thing I've seen coming out of the White House. Yeah. The most, right? Look, I mean, this is astonishing. I mean, I think it's important to look at this in a couple of different ways. This was a video that ran 1 minute and 1 second. And the last 2 seconds were those very brief images, shameful, racist, disgraceful images of the Obamas as primates. Images drawn, by the way, from a video that first surfaced last October. And when the White House yesterday morning was just dismissing all of this as fake outrage, they ought to have known that last October, a Republican Party in Kentucky, a local Republican Party, put that video out, long version of it, on their Facebook page. And it caused uproar. And they had to pull it down, and the head of that local Republican Party in Kentucky had to apologize. So this video has form, and the fact that we went through not just 12 hours before he took it down, but then an entire news cycle and heard 3 separate versions of what had happened before President Trump himself conceded that he'd watched the video, hadn't noticed the bit at the end, and stopped sort of blaming a lowly staffer for uploading it, but of course stopped short of apologizing for it, is extraordinary. But the second point that shouldn't be overlooked are the first 59 seconds of the video, because they're all about Trump's obsession with trying to prove that the 2020 election was rigged, that he won it, not Joe Biden. It was some ludicrous academic effort to kind of persuade people that Joe Biden actually lost in 2020. So everything about this was shameful. I mean, the fact that in 2026 he's still trying to litigate the 2020 election is an incredible window into what he's up to and his nefarious plans to rig the midterm elections later this year, or at least reject the outcome of them if Republicans lose. And then that last 2 seconds, just revelatory of the fact that the Republican Party, on numerous occasions, this is not a one-off, his government on numerous occasions is embracing racist imagery, totalitarian tropes, and a general authoritarian approach that is all designed to undermine American democracy, and in the case of that video, to engage in an act of racism towards a former first couple. The charitable way of looking at this is nobody glimpsed the last 2 seconds of that video. They saw the first part of it. They said to themselves, this is good. It's going to help really stoke things over the 2020 election. Yeah, stick it up there. The less than charitable version is that maybe a staffer did indeed see that thing at the end, depicting the Obamas as primates, and thought, OK, well, that doesn't really matter. You know, that's fine. That's OK. It's in keeping with the general tone of this administration. And I think you've got to come back, Matt, to the general tone. I mean, we have seen the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Labour, the White House embracing a whole meme culture that depicts the administration as totalitarian in approach and often white supremacist. There's all of these references that are made through the memes that they embrace that often, critics contend, look like imagery and slogans that were used by Hitler and the Nazis during World War II. When they're asked about this, and the Atlantic magazine has published an excellent piece about this, when the Homeland Security Department, for example, was asked about this, the Assistant Homeland Security Secretary said, even to be asking the question is schizophrenic. It's all Trump derangement syndrome, if you think that's what we're about. But it isn't. It is what they're about. And whether yesterday's posting of that video was by design, accidental, or simply a mistake that the president is not willing to concede and apologize for, it goes to the heart of something much darker and much more profound within this administration. I think it's the normalization of embracing an approach to life that is profoundly un-American. And that's why he's going to have problems. There was a caller yesterday to C-SPAN, a solid Trump voter, who said that while he was on the phone calling in, he was looking at this imagery of the Obamas and he was sick to his stomach over it because this is not who we are as Americans. And that's the departure that Trump and the people around him are making.